What is up, gang? You guys asked for more hidden hacks and extensions that you might have been unaware of inside Ableton Live 11. We've got a lot to cover, so let's jump into it. A lot of you know this already, but to reduce aliasing and transient harshness, turn on oversampling for both the EQ, A, and the glue compressor. Let's say that you've made a groove out of audio like I have here, and you want to replace one of the elements, maybe the kick or the snare. You can do that really easily. What I've done in the past is got the sample that I wanted and then just started to replace it throughout the track, and it takes a fair old while. There's a much easier shortcut. Click on the clip of the sample that you want to replace and find the name here. When you right click that, you can manage sample file, and over here we have the Versace kick that I've just used. Drop the new sample over that highlighted clip, and now you've replaced all of the kick drums. I love absolutely anything that speeds up my workflow, which is why this episode is sponsored by DistroKid, and I'll have more about them at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around. If you've got a drum rack and you apply maybe a filter to one of the drums, but then want to apply it to everything, all you need to do is right click that option and then copy value to siblings. Here we've got 16 drums. It's going to copy that value to all of the other drums here. We can right click the frequency and copy value to siblings as well. You used to be able to set the old reverb before the update to high quality mode, but you can also do that with dynamic tube, redux, pedal, delay, and with Corpus, if you come down to this drop down here, you can also set it to high quality mode too. You probably already know that you've got the global overview here, but if you do want to free up some real estate, you can hit Command Option and O, and it will be hidden from your screen. If you right click the dry wet pot on delay or echo, you'll get the option for equal loudness. I have a short on this that goes into more detail. Right clicking an audio clip will give you convert to MIDI options. I'm quite fond of convert harmony to new MIDI track. It also works pretty well converting drums to a MIDI track as well. Don't forget that if it's warped, you can slice it to a new MIDI track as well, which is super handy to create new breaks. When you go into session view, if you expand this bracket here, you'll also get some options for BPM and time signature. Whilst we're in session view, if we pull this line up, we'll get the option to type in a precise value for our audio. If you're that way inclined, you can rename anything with an emoji. All you need to do is hit rename and then Control, Command, and then space. Don't forget that if you hit tab when you're renaming, you'll go to the next available track as well. If you're like me and your eyes are starting to fail you, you can come up to live preferences, look and feel. You'll have the option to scale back or increase the size of the devices on screen. If you preferred the way that Ableton organized the audio effects before the update, or if you just want things in alphabetical order, all you need to do is right click inside the audio effects and then select group in folder. Everything is now displayed in alphabetical order, and if you right click name, you'll also have other options to sort your instruments. I don't think that this is much of a secret anymore, and I have covered it in a previous video, but you have some hidden options to change the way that Ableton performs. Record on selection of track to be enabled to display your plugin list in the session view. If you want to find out how to do this in more detail, then just check the episode out in the top right of the screen. If you've ever used the saturator and come down to Wave Shaper and not been able to figure out how to create your own wave, you just need to hit this hidden icon here, and now you can draw your own wave shape. If you want to edit multiple tracks at the same time, then just make a selection of the tracks, right click and choose link tracks. This makes it super easy to create multiple fades and multiple chops across a number of tracks. Don't forget that you already have a shortcut for phase, which is Command Option and F. When you right click the width on the utility, you get an option for mid-side mode. This is one I don't think has been covered before, but if you right click spectral time, you're able to avoid freezing onsets. So the freeze will occur after each audio transient triggers it now. We also have the option for zero dry signal latency. Subtle options, but they are there. If you open up the sidebar on the phaser flanger, you also have a hidden option for an envelope follower. This is great if you want the effect to follow the audio. You're already aware that delay has repitch, fade, and jump options, but so does the filter delay. You just need to find it. Just right click the top bar and choose repitch, fade, or jump. Now I've done a whole episode on sidechaining and the different options, but if you weren't aware, you can sidechain other things other than just the compressor. This includes the glue compressor, the auto filter, multiband compression, and the gate. If you come over to the right side in the arrangement view and right click, or come down to the pan pots inside the session view, you'll get select split stereo pan mode. This is going to give you a little bit more control as to precisely how far left and right your sound is panned in your mix space. Now, in most DAWs, you're able to solo multiple instruments at once, and you can't really do that in Ableton by just pressing S. But if you do want that control, you can come to Live, Preferences, Record, Warp, Launch. You can turn off Exclusive Solo. Now you'll be able to solo multiple things inside your Ableton window. You can also right-click the solo option and choose Solo in place. You'll now just hear the signal from that individual track. If you want to see the impact a plugin is having on CPU, don't forget that you can come to Session View down in the bottom right and you can choose ShowHide Performance Impact. This little bar will highlight which VSTs or audio effects are really being a hog on your CPU performance. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. What did you think of today's 23 top tips? And is there anything from the list or the previous couple of episodes that I've still missed? What are your favorite tricks, tips, hacks, and shortcuts in Ableton? Let's have a conversation in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I mentioned that this video is sponsored by DistroKid, and they really do help speed up my workflow post finishing my track, whether that's Mixier's tool for mastering my track or the helpful promotional tools to help market my track once it's out in the wide world. Make sure you use DistroKid and get 7% off your first year by using the link in the description below. Thank you so much for stopping by. There's exclusives at the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.